This is a short presentation, mentor update, specifically for nurses. So hopefully you've completed part one of the presentation around the mentor update before starting this. If you haven't, would you please stop now and return to part one. So what is in relation to our mentoring, what guides us? So we have standards for pre-registration nurse education, and we have standards for learning, assessing and nursing practice. Therefore, standards for mentors, practice teachers and teachers, and these are our guidance in how we support our students on our undergraduate programs. Both of these are currently under NMC review, and consultation processes will be taking place over 2017. But the key things, so it's a mandatory requirement to have mentors for students. Sign-off mentors are required as well. We'll talk a bit about those later on. Any changes to provision of undergraduate courses, and the CPD of mentors, and that leads to revalidation. So, mandatory requirements for mentors that the NMC stipulate must have been registered for at least a year, must be on the same part of the register as the student, or in a special area of practice. Completed an NMC approved mentorship preparation program, be on the live mentor register, and our mentor register is kept on the POPI, our Placement Information Centre that I talked about in the first presentation. And the NMC said that you shouldn't have or support more than 3 students at any time. So the other thing is that mentors are required to do is to ensure that students are allocated to spend at least 40% of their time with a live mentor in their team, or have access to a mentor 40% of their time. There are additional criteria for sign-off mentors, which we'll look at now. So sign-off mentors, all nursing students and midwives are requiring them. Midwives support students, sign-off mentors throughout the whole of their course. In nursing, it's final placement. However, only a sign-off mentor can sign off the proficiency of a student before entering the NMC register. So the sign-off mentor makes a final decision about the student's proficiency, and they sign to say that the student's fit to enter the NMC register. The other thing that's expected to sign off mentors is support junior mentors in making difficult decisions, and support new mentors undertaking a mentorship course. And some of you may well be sign-off mentors and fulfil these roles. The NMC has stipulated that sign-off mentors must supervise on 3 occasions signing off proficiency of students, and there are flexible approaches, and we have a sign-off mentor pathway which the information is on in the Mentor Centre. But they must have an in-depth understanding of accountability and working in the same field of practice as the learner, and understand the curriculum and the practice assessments that are required. Current programs that we provide from Plymouth University are adult child health, mental health and midwifery. We deliver from Plymouth, Truro and Exeter, and our placements are across the whole of the Southwest, and you're going to be providing placements for our students. So our program structure for nursing is 50% theory and 50% practice. Each year the academic requirement is increased, so level 4 is base level, where they come in for year 1. Level 5 is diploma level, and this is year 2, and then year 3 is their degree level of study, so they gradually increase throughout the programme. Our students, nursing students, have 2 placements in year 1, 3 in year 2 and 2 placements in year 3. We aim for 1 community placement each year. Students have an ongoing achievement record for their assessment documentation, and we're doing some pilot studies of making these electronic assessments, but more will come out to you as that develops. And they have an e-portfolio to save the store of the evidence that they need to provide to demonstrate the underpinning theory of the practice that you are seeing in your area when you're assessing. You're required to have a triennial review, so every 3 years you're required to declare you're up to date with your mentoring. This is part of your appraisal and also part of your revalidation. So you must support a minimum of two students in 3 years, and you have reflected on that support, that you've undertaken an annual update, that you continue to develop as a mentor to remain on that NMC register, and also it is part of revalidation, and all the activities you do with students contributes to your revalidation evidence. So please make sure that you're up to date, to be on the mentor register, and we allocate students to you based on the record that we have on our mentor register that you're up to date. And NMC reviews our mentor registers when they look at our nursing and midwifery programs, so please ensure you're up to date and you do meet your training review requirements. If you're not sure, please contact your practice lead, which I talked about in the first presentation. So some of the things for you to think about is, preceptees and employers often talk to us about that they feel that students aren't prepared for registrant practice. But 50% of the course is spent in practice, learning the art and linking the science, the underpinning knowledge, to the activities that students do. And so 50% of responsibility for their learning is with you, for their clinical development is with you as mentors. So why do mentors find it difficult to be honest in giving feedback? Have you discussed that with your colleagues and think about why that's so? And most of the majority of our NMC fees go on fitness to practice hearings. We haven't been getting it right. The NMC in 2008 introduced the role of the mentor, the requirements for mentors, the annual updating and the mentor courses and sign-off mentors to strengthen the mentors' confidence and ability to safeguard patients, to be the gatekeepers to profession, and to actually give good honest feedback to help somebody progress in development. So the student's ongoing achievement record. It's a record of their mandatory requirements. It's also demonstrated their achievement in practice and their academic progression from one tier to next. It has the learning, action plans, summative assessments, personal tutor comments and progression points. So you can, in each placement, look back over a student's progress and see how they've developed. It contributes to the evidence for NMC requirements of good health and good character, which the university declares at point of registration. So I'm going to talk about student assessments now. So let's have a look at what we're doing with the OARS. So we've changed to mentors. Instead of assessing small competencies, we're looking at the 4 domains of nursing. Each domain is assessed in each placement. The students are required to provide 3 forms of evidence for each domain, and as mentors you'll be allocating a percentage grade. The students have an online store of their evidence, and this is PebblePad, and each section on PebblePad is sectioned out into domains. So the domains are professional values, communication and interpersonal skills, nursing practice and decision making, leadership management and team working, and please, we are requiring you to assess them in each placement. So the domains, 3 forms of evidence. As always, we want direct observation by yourself or your colleagues or the student. We also have a variety of other evidence that the student can produce, but we are asking them to also provide you with a reflection that is referenced to a 3rd form of evidence. I'll talk about some examples a little later on. So the choice of grading is from 0 to 100. It is very important that you grade them at the stage of their program. The descriptors in the guidance are for you to judge them against. Please do not judge students in each placement against the requirements of a registered nurse. That is only required in Year 3 final placement. You are thinking, what do I expect from a first year? Or what do I expect from a second year at the beginning, middle or end of their year? We've given you some grading guidance and the students must pass at 40%. So here is the grading tool. It's about your expectations, what you feel they should. So it is that expectation of a second year or an expectation of a third year. We're asking you to choose one of the numbers in the grading, lower, middle or top of that area, and here are some guidance statements for you to use. Many of you have been using this already, and that's really good. So here's some example of the domains. Here's Year 1 domain, professional values. Indicative guidance, the sort of things that you're looking for. We're not asking you to get the student to tick box each one, but we would expect them to achieve all of them by the end of their placement. These are fairly doable and they're broad so that any placement area they could achieve that. So now we're looking at communication in personal skills for a mental health student, Year 2. Again, quite broad, but will fit in to any clinical area. Here's child health, Year 3 domain, and it's nursing, practice and decision making. You'll find whichever field of nursing this one has the most. There are a lot of things here, but also consider that we're not expecting them to be perfect at everything or to be, come across everything that would meet this. So it's indicative guidance. Leadership and management, and this is for adults. So Year 3, it's those higher skills. It's those skills that you're assessing. This is what the NMC expects a registered nurse to do. Year 3, Domain 4, Management, Leadership and Team Working. Teaching and facilitating learning in others. Work independently. Lead and coordinate and delegate care. Now whilst we're looking at adult, these are very similar for child and mental health. Formative assessment, students self-assess, is against these, decides on the score and makes some comments, and then you'll make your decision and match those and make some comments. From that, we would like you to do an action plan, things that need to be improved on. Then for summative assessment, we're asking you to record the type of evidence the student is performing, and then you allocate a grade for that domain. And again, what evidence you see in professional values and what grade you see for that domain. There's declarations and signatures, and then again, the personal student will see this once it's submitted to the university and make comments. Again, you'll get summaries from the tutor to make sure that all's in order, ready for the student to progress onto the next stage. Again, you may have done a follow summative assessment, and if the student has passed but there's some areas they need to work on, this is the place to do it, and we really are encouraging you as mentors to do this, really important. If they don't succeed, then we require an action plan. If you're going to refer that student, then definitely an action plan. But this is for you to point out to them what they need to take forward. They may have done okay, but what they could do to improve. So our students have 2 attempts at practice. They are eligible for assessment after 150 hours, which is about 20 days. Any referred domains are reassessed in the next placement. If a student is at the end in their final placement and they're referred, then there will be additional time required for them to undertake and rearrange another placement for them to achieve that. If they are referred in a placement and they are reassessed in the second placement, that is their second and final attempt. Students can extenuate for practice because of circumstances that are going on in their life or illness, but our personal tutors are involved with all of these things with students, and anybody that's referred who may be coming to your placement, your practice lead or personal tutor will be involved in moving things forward with you. So your university's placement support lead, the student's personal tutor or program lead can support you with your student assessment. Thank you for listening. I hope you found this useful and helpful. Now you might like to attempt the quiz. And good luck.